Hi. All right. Welcome to your first flip classroom. Today we're going to be talking about 4.2 dividing fractions. So make sure before you begin you have your notebook and your math book. Okay. So in your composition notebook, make sure you're taking any notes. You can pause this at any time to make sure that you're doing what you want to be doing in your notebooks. Take down anything that's important because remember you can't use your math books. Okay. Composition books are your friends, so write anything you need in there. We've already kind of covered dividing fractions. So we're going to continue with the rules. Yesterday we talked about doing the keep, flip, flip. That is also known as the reciprocal. Okay, so today we're going to talk about using the reciprocal to help us find and solve for fractions, dividing fractions. All right, so we're on page 85, and let's begin. In some division problems, you may know a number of groups and need to find how many or how much are in a group. In other division problems, you may know how many there are in each group and need to find the number of groups. Okay, so here's the first problem. You have 3/4 cups of salsa for making burritos. Each burrito requires 1/8 cup of salsa. How many burritos can you make? So this gives us a kind of a diagram here. Okay, so we know what we have. We know what makes each burrito. Now we're going to figure out how many burritos we can make. Okay, to find the number of burritos that can be made, you need to determine how many 1/8 cup servings are in 3/4 cups. Use the diagram. So how many, this is 3/4, it's not quite a whole. How many eighths do you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6. Let me switch over here. We've got 6 eighths are in 3/4. So you have enough salsa to make 6 burritos. Okay, so that's one way to solve. Okay, another one is you have 5 people share a 1/2 pound of cheese. So you have 5 people, 1/2 pound of cheese. Equally, how much cheese does each person get? Remember, we're never cutting up people, so we're going to cut up the 1/2 pound. All right, so here's your 1/2 pound of cheese, and we're going to cut it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. Okay, so it says to find how much cheese each person receives, you need to determine how much is each of how many parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. Okay, so we're going to flip over here. We need to figure out how much we get for each of the 5 parts. How much is in each part? So how many are in each part? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, if we were to finish it, there'd be 5 more. So there's actually 1/10. Each person will receive 1/10. Okay, so we're not going to do this other one. Sorry, my fingers are too fat to write in these tiny little spots. Okay, so those are just an example with pictures. We're going to worry about the math here. So we're going to turn the page. We're going to talk about reciprocals. Okay, if you want to take notes, this would be the time I would take notes in your book. Okay, so reciprocals, another way to divide fraction is to use reciprocals. 2 numbers whose product is 1 are reciprocals. Basically, they're the opposite. 3/4 times 4/3 equals 12/12. So the opposite of 3/4, or the reciprocal of 3/4, is 4/3. Okay? Because when you multiply them together, you're going to get a whole. All right? To find the reciprocal of a fraction, switch the numerator and the denominator. It's that easy. That's why we call it a keep, flip, and then we flip the fraction. When you flip the fraction, you're called using the reciprocal. Okay? All right, finding the reciprocal for each number. Switch the numerator and the denominator. They give you 2/9. If you switch them, you get 9/2. Okay, and if you multiply them, you get 18/18, which is equivalent to 1. All right, so remember, if you're ever wondering, oh, is this the reciprocal? Is this right? If they equal 1 when multiplied together, you're right. Okay. All right. Reciprocal for 1/8, 8/1. You're switching the numerator and the denominator. The reciprocal for a whole number. Remember, to turn a whole number into a fraction, all you do is put it over 1. So 5 is actually 5/1. The reciprocal of 5/1 is 1/5. All right. So we'll talk about a few of these here. Is any number its own reciprocal? If so, what number? Justify your answer. Okay. So let's talk about this. Is any number its own reciprocal? Well, yes, because what are the reciprocals? What did I say? The reciprocals have to equal what? Well, when they're multiplied together, they have to equal 1. The opposite of, or the reciprocal of 1 is 1. Does that make sense? Because if you put it 1 over 1, 1 over 1, they're still, if you flip them, it's still going to equal 1. Okay? So kind of a little bit of a trick question there for you. So let's try these. Go ahead, whenever time I want you to do something, just pause me, do it, and then hit play again. So take a minute, pause me, and then find the reciprocal, or the flip, of 7/8, 9, and 1 over 11. Do that now. Thanks. All right, moving on. Hopefully on number 5, you got 8 over 7, 1 over 9, and 11 over 1. Okay, hopefully we got that idea. Okay, reciprocals should be pretty easy. All right, so now we're going to use the reciprocals to solve. We're going to skip this page. We're going to save that for when I come back. We're going to use reciprocals to divide here. Okay, so this is where we do the keep, flip, flip. All right, so 9/10, if you want an example, it's all right here. Okay, and then kind of go through it. We're going to start on number 10. Okay, so we're going to start with number 10 because I only have 15 minutes to do this, all right, or else I run out of time. So if you want an example, this is a great example over here, but let's just dive right into this. So we got 9/10. I'm going to switch screens here, okay? Divided by, I believe it said it is 2/5. All right, so our rules to use the reciprocal, or the keep, flip, flip. So keep, flip the sign, and use the reciprocal. Okay, so 9 times 5 is 45 over 20. Okay, this is an improper fraction. This is a division problem. This really means 45 divided by 20. Well, guess what? 20 can go into 45 2 times. 5 left over. So our answer is 2, 5 left over 20. But we still got a problem. It can still be reduced. 5 can go into 5 1 time. 5 can go into 20. Hopefully we know our facts by now. 4 times. So we had our step 1, step 2, step 3, and then we actually had a 4th step to help. We had to double reduce, which is rare, but sometimes it happens. Okay? So we did the keep here and the flip. Keep, flip, flip. Then we had 45 over 20. We knew that was an improper fraction, so then we came up to step 2. Then we got 2 and 5/20. Then we know, oh, those numbers are compatible, so we had to reduce one more time. Let's do one more. Okay? Let's do one more. Let's do the 9/10 divided by 3/5. So keep, flip, flip. Reciprocal, right? 9 times 5, 45. 10 times 3 is 30. Well, this one I don't even have to actually divide. I know this one. 30 can go into 45 one time. 15 left over 30. Well, I know those 15 and 30 are reciprocal, or not reciprocals, but they are compatible, sorry. So I know 15 can go into 15 one time. 15 can go into 30 2 times. All right. So again, this one, we had one step. Keep, flip, flip. Then we had an answer. We reduced, and we actually had to reduce one more time. So 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. Okay? All right. Back to the book. Okay? So I want you to take a minute, pause the video, and I want you to try to complete 1, 2, and 3. They're just asking for reciprocals. Then 4, 5, and 6, I want you to do, this is the keep, flip, flip, or using the reciprocal, and then reducing. Okay? Number 7, I really, really like. I want you to give me step-by-step instructions. I've told you 4 steps in both those problems on how to divide fractions. You're going to be the teacher. You're going to tell me how to divide fractions. Feel free to use all this area down here and write. Okay, so pause me now and then do that, and we'll check our answers. Okay. All right, hopefully you've had some time to do it. Let's check our work. Okay, so number 1 should be 5/2, but using the reciprocal. Number 2, 1/9, the reciprocal is 9/1, or 9. 10/3 is 3/10. Okay, these ones should be easy. These are just using the flip. Okay, and here we go. Let's see if we know how to divide, see if we got some. So 4/3 divided by 5/3, you should have gotten 4/5. Number 5, you should have gotten 3/8. And number 6 is 1 and 1/4. Okay, and then when we come back, let's see, Thursday, we'll talk about number 7. That's going to be our class discussion about how do we divide fractions, because you guys are going to have a cool little thing you're going to do with that. So we won't check that now because each of you might have different directions, and so I don't want to necessarily compare them when I'm not there. But keep this in mind. We'll talk about this tomorrow. Make sure this is done. Okay. All right. Let's move on. All right, so here's our independent practice. Now you need to show me that you've actually learned something today with this flip video. A lot of kids like this flip video because they can stop it, they can fast forward. Oh, I already know this, Kende, tell me something I don't know. Or maybe they're like, wow, I don't know what he just said. They can rewind it. So let's see if this is working for us. Last year it worked, but this year might be different. So now we need to prove that this is working. So what I need you guys to do is I want you to, you don't have to do the whole page. I want you to do only the evens, all right? So you're in charge of, let's see here. You know what? I'll be even nicer to you. We'll only do the odds, all right? So you're going to be in charge of the odds here. So you're going to be in charge of 9, 11, 13, and 15, okay? Once that's done, so make sure you circle those, please. And then once that's done, you need to raise your hand. The substitute will come around, Mrs. Sanchez will come around and check your work. If it's not right, you need to make corrections. If it is right, then you're going to continue on to the module homework page. So that's on McDougall. You need to log into McDougall. You need to do the assignment. If you're in the assignment, make sure you do the warm-up, the homework, and if you pass and you get an 80% or better, you're going to have an enrichment. Make sure you're doing the enrichment because the enrichment will get you ready for the next assignment. Okay? If you're wondering, if you run into any confusions, please raise your hand. We'll get you figured out. If for some reason you cannot get into your Holt McDougall account, please raise your hand. Mrs. Sanchez will help you. If you guys can't do that together, then if it still isn't working, then we'll just have you finish the rest of this page. But the goal here is to really understand how to use the reciprocal when dividing fractions. Okay? So I know this was a pretty quick lesson, about 15 minutes. But the goal here is to do just that. Make sure you understand to keep flip in the reducing piece. On Thursday, we will have an exit ticket. There will be a little quiz to understand if we know how. The big thing I'm looking for is the process. Do you know the keep flip using the reciprocal, multiplying across, and then reducing? Okay, so the big 3. All right. All right. I hope this was fun. If you need to listen to it again, feel free. If you've got it, hopefully we can move on. Good luck, and I look forward to hearing from you tomorrow. All right. Enjoy.